So she's got even more reasons to disqualify you and to get rid of you. Yay! Let's check this one out. Bill Maher hilariously destroys woke left for ruining dating on live TV. Where will it end? Where will it end? I don't know. I seriously don't know. Let's take a look at this and see what Bill Maher's got to say.
And if you jilt a guy for not thinking enough about Black Lives Matter, just tell me this. What have you actually done that made any more of a difference in any black life than what your inadequate ex-fiancé did? I asked Senator Adam Schiff here last week when the subject of Trump's sliding poll numbers came up. Okay, but how are the Democrats going to blow it this time? This is how. Posturing, purity tests, the politics of I unfriend you if you're not exactly with me 1,000%. Barack Obama used to preach that the perfect is the enemy of the good. Yeah, it's also the enemy of getting laid.
Bill didn't hold back on criticizing the extreme wing of the left, and it all centers on TV shows that have chosen to upend the norm by injecting ideas alien to common sense.
Because if you're going to eliminate every 20-something who hasn't...
Seriously, is TV even watchable? There's so little on there. It's incredible.
...thought a lot about politics, you're going to be working from
I don't know any of these shows.
A smaller pool than roadies with no leg tattoos.
The outspoken media personality roasted woke TV shows for pushing woke ideologies, and it was pure comedy. As always, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more fiery videos like this.
And finally, new rule, before they can take on Donald Trump, Democrats have to decide which wing of their own party is best to lead them out of the wilderness. And when I say that, I'm sure you can all guess what recent incident in the news I'm thinking about. The season 8 finale of Love is Blind. Here's what happened. The bride, an impressive, attractive nurse named Sarah Carton, walked out on her dream wedding to sales consultant Ben Mazenga. They were at the altar, all dressed up, almost to the part where they eat cake and do the electric slide.
Lucky Ben.
When Sarah broke the news to her man that she just couldn't go through with it. Had he cheated on her? Abused her? Was he a folk-singing Irish vampire?
What the heck is that?
No, it was because of Black Lives Matter.
Yes, the movement may be fading from the spotlight, but its ripple effects are still very much. Its consequences is how this kind of cultural activism has seeped into personal relationships, even putting strain on couples who once worked perfectly fine. Some women are reportedly walking away from relationships, not because of betrayal or incompatibility, but because of ideological litmus tests born out of that era. In a moment, Mar will explain exactly how this mindset ended up driving wedges between otherwise happy, charming couples. But pause for a second and really let this sink in. Woke culture doesn't just fracture institutions or polarize politics. It reaches into personal lives, complicates relationships, and chips.
Seriously, how much can women stand? They're being brainwashed and they get it from all angles. I guess they gotta lead the charge for their own lives. Are you happy with all this stuff they're trying to get you to do so you're alone and buying products? Yeah, women buy the most stuff. These companies are smart and they know it. And they've done the studies. They know if you're in a happy marriage, you're not going to buy the stuff. Useless stuff. I had another video. Some girl was buying eyelash serum and putting 4, 5, 6, 7 different products on her face. If you're too busy having fun with your husband because you love him and you're not judging him because of woke culture, because he's not marching for every other cause that comes along, yeah, you're going to be buying all kinds of stuff, going on dates, going around and around, getting on all the apps, trying to date, trying to do this, trying to make yourself hot. I did a reaction video. Girl spent $10,000 in debt immediately after her divorce. Because she's buying all kinds of junk. It's incredible. And look, guys, I know, these companies are doing the same thing with us and trying to get us alone and us to buy stuff. But I don't know. Are we buying that stuff?
away at the stability couples need.
Well, he had not done the work on this issue.
When I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I've never really thought too much about it.
And that's when Sarah realized she'd rather die alone.
Yeah, get rid of him. Obviously, you got to get rid of him. I never really thought about it. Yeah, because he's probably trying to figure out how to make money and keep his job and create the right environment so he can have a relationship and the woman doesn't have to worry about everything and he can have a good life. Most men, come on, seriously, let's talk about this. The truth is, ladies, most men, 80% of our time is spent grinding and thinking about our jobs and how to make money and how to survive and how to get ahead and how to boom, 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 boom. That's what I'm thinking about the majority of the day. And everybody who I'm friends with and what they're thinking about, that's what they're thinking about. And they're probably neutral on most things because they don't have time to think about all that stuff. That's just the truth. We don't have time to think about all these things. He has a neutral response and you're going to get rid of him. He's trying to think about, hey, how am I going to keep this going with this beautiful woman? I want to make her happy. I should probably buy a house. We should probably start a life together. Maybe we want to have kids. I better get my ass to the office and grind. How am I going to get a bonus? How am I going to get a better job? Maybe I need to start a company. Maybe I need to do this. Okay, here are my bills. How can I cut down on my bills? How can I do this? How can I afford to take her to a nice place for dinner? How can I afford 3 months of salary so I can buy her a diamond ring? Oh, no, you didn't think about, you don't have a strong opinion about Black Lives Matter, and that's not, granted, all this stuff's important, but how, is he a good guy? Is he a good person? Sometimes we don't have a time for everything. We just don't have the time. Is that crazy? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear from the women mostly. What do you think? Is this unreasonable? But that's really what's going on. Every guy I know, everybody in my family, we're all grinding. We're trying to get ahead.
Because love isn't blind, it's woke. Well, now, to be fair to Sarah, it wasn't just Black Lives Matter. Ben also didn't have much to say about vaccine. And his position on trans was basically, I don't know, I guess. Sarah's sister is gay, and when she told that to Ben, Ben said he had, quote, no discomfort around that community at all. Not good enough, Ben.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Disqualify him. Get rid of Ben. Oh, really? Get rid of him. Obviously, no good. He's not marriage material. He has no discomfort around that community at all. He's neutral. He's just like, hey, all right, live and let live. That's not good enough.
Ben.
So there you have it. Sarah didn't walk away from Ben because the love was gone or because he betrayed her trust. She refused to marry him because he didn't have the right opinions on the media's favorite hot-button issues. Let that sink in. Even if she had ended the engagement because Ben openly disagreed with her views, at least that would have been rooted in a clear conflict of beliefs. Disagreements, after all, are honest. But that's not what happened here. She broke it off because Ben chose neutrality because he didn't feel the need to weigh in, perform outrage, or adopt a scripted stance on every trending controversy. In today's climate, silence is no longer seen as maturity or restraint. It's treated as moral.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about the changes in the tax code. let me stop that and figure out the best response so that you'll stay with me. Yikes.
Failure. And that's the real tragedy. Relationships are now being judged not on character, loyalty, or love, but on whether someone can recite the approved talking point.
Is he good? Is he a good person? Come on. Is he a good guy? Is he generous? Is he kind to children and small animals? Does he have a strong character? Can you depend on him? Is he there when he needs you, when you need him? Both. Does he have those things? What happened to some reasonableness? Seriously, for the women who are listening, this is what guys are thinking about. We're thinking about 80% of the time, we're thinking about a career and how to do better and how to get ahead and how to grind and make the coin. We're doing all that stuff so we can have a happy life with the woman who we're trying to get together with and trying to have a family and trying to have those things that make life grand. Just trying to do those things. The other 20%, we're just exhausted. Maybe we'll watch a football game. Maybe we'll watch a movie with you. Maybe we'll go on a hike, and, try to plan something nice together. But we're grinding. I'm sure there's a lot of women who understand that because they're out there grinding too. I guess not this person. Get rid of Ben. I'm going to get a t-shirt. Obviously. We'll start a new movement.
Points on demand.
Let me tell you, folks, if the standards on the left are going to be this high and politics is going to be this much of a block, we're never going to win elections or have any more babies. This inclination from certain liberals to always and immediately excommunicate instead of communicate is what makes them so unlikable. And I'm sorry, Sarah, to make you the poster child for this, but come on. I mean, look at this stiff. What'd you expect?
And that is one of the biggest concerns people have with the modern left. It keeps setting purity standards that no one outside its inner circle can realistically meet. The bar isn't just high, it's constantly moving. First, liberal women openly declared they wouldn't marry conservatives, as if political disagreement were some kind of moral disease. Then it escalated into public signaling, with bracelets and labels meant to instantly identify who was safe and who wasn't. Now, even that isn't enough. Today, neutrality itself has become disqualifying. If you're not loudly aligned, endlessly opinionated, and visibly invested in every trending cause, you're treated with suspicion. Choosing not to engage is framed as complicity. This mindset doesn't just narrow the dating pool, it makes people more closed off from each other. It turns relationships into ideological screenings rather than human connections. Instead of tolerance and diversity of thought, the loudest voices on the left have embraced conformity and exclusion, ironically becoming the very thing it claims to oppose.
Okay, you're a much better person than he is. You win. And by win, I mean lose. Christ, first we couldn't date people who had opposite political beliefs. Now we can't even date them if they have no opinion at all. It's enough to make you lose faith in finding true love on a reality streaming series.
It didn't work out on the reality series?
Because if you're going to eliminate every 20-something who hasn't thought a lot about politics, you're going to be working from a smaller pool than roadies with no leg tattoos.
Maher is absolutely...
No. Let me explain how this works. I'll clear things up. Now, this is just my theory. She doesn't have a smaller pool. There's tons. She's just eliminating the people who she'd probably have a healthy relationship with. She's going to dip right into Simp Nation. That's right. She's going to find a guy who's like, yeah, I'll go marching with you. I'll do this. I'll do that instead of going to work. And I'll have the exact opinions I think you want me to have. I'm a simp. I'm part of Simp Nation. And she's going to be like, oh, this is great. He's just like me. I'm going to marry him, have a kid or two, and then immediately divorce him and get him to pay for everything for 18 years. Yay. Yeah. Why is everyone divorced and a single parent? This is who they end up with. Some dude from Simp Nation who's not exciting, who there's zero polarity, who's the yes, dear, and all that fun stuff. And does that excite her? Does that make her happy? No. They want the bad guy. They want the guy who says no every once in a while, who doesn't subscribe to every woke cause there is, who's on his grind, who's conquering. Right? So they're going to marry that wimpy guy. They're going to stay with him for 2, 3, 4 years, just long enough to pump out 2 kids. And then they're going to dump his ass. That's exactly what's going on. Or I have no idea. You tell me in the comments after you like and subscribe. Let's check out a little bit more, but wow, that's what's going on. Tell me I'm wrong.
Absolutely right. If we all decide to marry
I'm
only people
absolutely
who
right.
live, think, and vote exactly like us, we're heading toward a serious social problem. When everyone retreats into their own ideological bubble, the pool of potential partners shrinks dramatically. Love becomes less about compatibility, shared values, and mutual respect, and more about ticking the correct political boxes. That's not how healthy societies function. Historically, relationships have thrived on differences, on debate, balance, and the ability to disagree without viewing the other person as morally defective. But today's culture encourages isolation, not connection.
Ladies, you don't want to date yourself. There's no polarity there. There's no difference. And the space in between the difference is where attraction. There has to be a little tension. There has to be a little difference. There has to be or else you will get completely bored.
Tells people to cut off anyone who doesn't fully align rather than engage, understand, or compromise. The long-term result is loneliness, fragmentation, and a generation that struggles to form lasting relationships. If marriage becomes an exclusive club for the ideologically pure, we shouldn't be surprised when fewer people qualify, fewer families form, and social cohesion continues to erode.
And let's be clear, Ben.
When you dump guy after guy, year after year, and you're on the carousel, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I've dumped all these good guys. Now I'm getting old. I'm running out of time to have a baby. Let me dip right in here and just get this guy. And is that fair? And is that kind? Does that deserve its own movement and bracelet and everything that goes with it? No, it's why you're so unhappy. The people who choose that.
Didn't say, you know, I have thought about Black Lives Matter and I'm with Derek Chauvin. No. He said, I'm young and dumb and full of fantasy football stats. Could we just talk about it? I'm sorry, I'm not up to the part of my life yet where I give a shit about the issues. Should he? Of course. We all should do a lot of things. I should meditate and finish Moby Dick and learn to get to sleep without a gummy.
Honestly, we don't all need to have opinions on everything. It's perfectly reasonable and actually...
Yeah, life is diverse. There's a lot of stuff going on besides all these different political agendas. Are they important? Of course, yes. There's so many things to get into. We're being narrowed into these small boxes where no one has any personality anymore. They just have a political agenda, a woke agenda, a left or right agenda. I remember when people had personalities and interests and had opinions about different things and were reading books and crazy stuff like that. It was much better. Now everyone is just like pumping them out. Next one, they got these beliefs. Everybody's the same. Yeah. Tell me you haven't experienced that when dating. Where's your personality? Is it in there? Hello, personality. Diversity of thoughts and interests. Where are you?
Responsible to stay quiet on issues you don't fully understand or haven't taken the time to research. Silence in many cases is a sign of humility, not ignorance. Knowing when not to speak used to be considered maturity, but in today's climate, especially in certain circles, that restraint is no longer acceptable. You're expected to have a take on every issue instantly and loudly, whether you're informed or not. Worse, opting out isn't seen as neutrality. It's framed as cowardice or even moral failure. This pressure doesn't encourage thoughtful discussion. It rewards performative outrage and shallow talking points.
What are they doing for their causes that they're all, what exactly are you doing? Except separating yourself from good people. Are you actually contributing to these causes in some way? Or are you just blabbing about it and finding a new way to fight with people over it? Here's something I could just get all angry about and get mad at you about that I don't actually do anything for. Oh, I have a strong opinion. Yeah. What does that mean? How does that translate into change? Well, I'm going to change this guy and dump him. Does that work?
Instead of valuing honesty and nuance, some on the left demand constant public declarations of belief. And that's the problem. When silence becomes unacceptable, truth takes a back seat to conformity, and genuine understanding gets replaced by noise.
Maybe Ben hasn't turned his life over to being a social justice warrior yet because he's preoccupied with trying to get his life going.
Yes.
Possibly because he's worried about having the means to support the woman he thought he was going to marry.
Yes.
Who seems rather demanding and particular. The guy must also have a nice car and make over $100K a year. Okay, but you know, how many 6'2" Grand Prix drivers are there?
We don't all have to pick a social cause and turn it into a personal crusade. Not everyone is wired to fight cultural battles, and that's perfectly fine. If I meet someone tomorrow who simply doesn't care about woke culture,
there's not enough time in the day. I'm working till 9 o'clock at night. There's not enough time. Oh, yeah, I was like, this cause? Okay, that's great. I support you 100%. Okay, gotta get back to it. Yeah. Rent just went up. Mortgage just went up. Taxes went up. Yeah, life is going on while you're thinking about all this stuff and getting all angry. We're trying to have kids. I can't afford the kids. I got to pay for summer camp. I got to do this. The health insurance is insane. Oh, I didn't have this, new woke policy or thing I'm not focusing on. I'm sorry, my wife, my potential wife. I'm just so sorry. You were right about me. I am terrible. Oh, really? Wow.
Culture or its impact on society, I can respect that position. Indifference isn't hostility, and disengagement isn't moral failure. People have different priorities: family, work, faith, creativity, or simply living a quiet life, and none of that makes them lesser or complicit. They don't need to be anti-woke warriors like me, constantly arguing, critiquing, or pushing back. A healthy society allows room for activists, skeptics, and people who just want to mind their own business. The problem arises when neutrality is no longer tolerated and everyone is pressured to pick a side. Freedom isn't just the right to
No, everyone's got to be like me and think like me, and that's it, and that's how freedom is.
speak. It's also the right to opt out without being judged, shamed, or excluded.
I know you've all been told that you can have it all, and you're a queen and a lady boss, and that. But maybe your judgy is no prize either.
Nobody wants to date someone who is that impossibly picky either, when your standards are unrealistically high, especially when they revolve around rigid ideological checklists.
Yeah, try to date, by the third or fourth woman you try to date like this, you just like, that's enough for me. There's no diversity anymore. There's no different kind of choice. That's what you start thinking, even though there is. It's just hard to come by when everyone's spouting the same stuff. I got to listen to this. How am I going to get to the bedroom fun? This is so difficult. She's complaining. The ex-husband's terrible, and this is bad, and this woke thing and that woke thing. Like, oh God, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can get to date two. I'm trying. Forget it. That's what happens. They just say, forget it.
You end up eliminating almost everyone before the relationship even begins. At that point, you might as well date yourself, because very few people will ever qualify. Standards are healthy when they focus on character, loyalty, kindness, and compatibility. But when they become excessive, performative, or constantly shifting, they stop being standards and start becoming barriers. Most people don't want to feel like they're applying for a job or sitting for a moral exam just to be loved. Relationships thrive on grace, compromise, and understanding, not constant judgment. The truth is simple. The pickier you become, the smaller your dating pool gets. And if no one measures up to an ever-changing ideal, the problem isn't everyone else, it's the standards themselves. And that's absolutely true.
If you jilt a guy for not thinking enough
That guy's promoting self-reflection. How dare he?
about Black Lives Matter, just tell me this. What have you actually done
Exactly.
that made any more of a difference in any black life than what your inadequate ex-fiancé did? I asked Senator Adam Schiff here last week when the subject of Trump.
Sometimes when you're a good person, you naturally help all these things. When you treat people with respect and patience and kindness, you naturally help all these causes. You don't have to get on board with all this because you're a good person and you treat people the right way as humans, no matter what they got going on, what their sexuality, what their skin color, whatever it is. You're just a good person. And that inspires people. That helps society. That helps everybody at your job. That helps your neighbor. If you're not devoting all your time to these things, but you're making money, you're having children, you're raising them correctly, you're teaching them decent values, to be a good person, to treat other people with kindness. These are the people who are really changing society and really helping causes. Not all these blabbermouths who aren't actually doing anything, but spouting off their opinions and judging everybody any chance they get.
Sliding poll numbers came up. Okay, but how are the Democrats going to blow it this time? This is how. Posturing, purity tests, the politics of I unfriend you if you're not exactly with me 1,000%.
I've graduated from college. I don't want any more tests. Maybe I just want to fall in love with someone who's a good person. Is that crazy?
Once again, sounding the alarm, and it's one many on the left seem to overlook. If Democrats don't rein in the endless posturing, woke excesses, cancel culture, performative outrage, and over-the-top theatrics, it could seriously hurt them politically in the future. This strategy hasn't worked before, and there's no reason to believe it suddenly will now. Voters don't reward moral grandstanding. They reward clarity, competence, and solutions that actually improve their lives. Instead, the left keeps doubling down on symbolic gestures and purity tests that alienate ordinary people. Worse still is the habit of excommunicating anyone who doesn't fully share the same worldview. Shaming, silencing, and casting out dissenters doesn't build coalitions, it shrinks them. A political movement that survives only by policing its own ranks eventually collapses under its own rigidity. If the left truly wants to win again, it has to stop preaching to itself and start speaking to the country as it actually exists, not as activists wish it were.
It's time for the media to admit that they blew the whole thing way out of proportion, because as always with media these days, they don't cover what's most important, just what's most fun to watch. There are 15.2 million college students in the U.S., and 2,300 have been arrested. That's 1/67th of 1%, and half of the ones in New York weren't even students. But we were given the false impression that these protesters are the voice of their generation, having found a cause for which they were willing to go to the tents and to the barricades. Oh, please, these kids are more violent when their team wins a championship.
To wrap it all up, the pattern is clear, and the warning signs couldn't be louder. Woke culture has moved far beyond activism and is having real social consequences, fracturing relationships, shrinking dating pools, and turning ordinary human connections into ideological battlegrounds. Neutrality is no longer tolerated, disagreement is treated as heresy, and silence is mistaken for moral failure. As Maher keeps pointing out, this mindset doesn't just alienate individuals, it alienates voters. When politics becomes a purity contest, most people simply opt out. They don't want to be lectured, tested, or shamed just to exist in society, let alone to date, marry, or vote. Excluding anyone who doesn't perfectly align may feel righteous, but it may backfire badly on them politically. The left keeps mistaking loud activism for broad appeal, and history shows that strategy.
All right, we get the point. I think we've all gotten the point and had enough of that. I'm exhausted from that. Yeah, what's really making us happy? Can you see how riled up everyone's getting over this? How does it really affect our lives? Is it in a positive way? Is it making us happier? Is it bringing us closer to people? Are we accomplishing stuff? Or are we just pitted against each other? Right? It's pretty obvious what's going on. I feel bad for women, and I'm going to get guys who are upset about me for saying that. I feel bad. They get the bulk of propaganda, and I've noticed that a lot of them aren't very happy. And I hear what I've seen in this video. I witnessed that out when I'm socializing. And there's a lot of people who are very unhappy spouting off all this stuff. And what's happening is pretty much what this guy's been saying in this video. Woke Blasters is his channel. You check it out. You can check out the rest of this video. We almost made it through the whole thing, but Let's see what people are saying about this in the comments. Let's see what we got. Boy, did that bridegroom dodge a bullet. Yeah. If she left you because of woke issues, she did you a favor. I'm afraid that's true. How's your relationship going to be? Pretending you've got time for all this. Why are these ridiculous demands described as high standards? They're not high, they're just dumb. Dodge the bullet, run. Let's see what Mr. Harry Wild says. These feminist ladies, young and old, are still looking for Chad, a guy that is 6'2" plus height, handsome, masculine, has a six-pack. That doesn't matter. Makes $250K. Ooh, that's nice. Drives around in an exotic luxury car, lives in a mansion. Let's see if we can find some ladies commenting. That's a guy. Let's see what we got. Let's see what Clint Pot 8521 says. On the flip side, people are seeking certainty in uncertain times. So finding somebody who is on the same side of the political spectrum is perhaps the best for your own sanity. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, true. I couldn't see myself trying to make it work with any one of these irrational, woke, cancel culture women in the long run. It's nice to be with someone of the opposite sex where you agree on stuff too. You don't have to agree on everything, but generally, like, we're in the same religion and we're politically the same, but she likes vanilla and I like chocolate. It's nice to have the things you agree on too. It could make your relationship easier. But I think that what we're talking about here in this video is pretty extreme. It's extreme this way. And getting rid of someone because they weren't totally, completely obsessed with your woke, whatever you're going to call it, whatever your agenda, your woke agenda. I don't have a problem with this. We're already living in a culture where divorce rates are over 50%. So clearly, arguments and disagreements are already enough to blow up marriages. Furthermore, shared values do play a big role in finding someone to share life with, especially as it becomes clearer and clearer how deep the rift actually is. So whatever she was attracted to in him wasn't worthy. He's lucky. And she's a nurse. Does her quality care depend on patient political views? I don't know about that. Let's go. Okay, one more. All right, this last one there. Let's be honest. The left is a religion, a belief with all nonsense that comes with it, from exclusion, group feelings, heretics, everything exactly the same. The left is a belief, a religion, and knows no freedom or nuance. Faith and religion also cannot tolerate any other opinion. Well, I really wanted to find opinions by women who disagree with what was being said in this video and why. I'm sure they have some good points as well. But you can see how tough it is for relationships to make it today. Every time we turn the corner, there's another reason to disqualify or end a relationship. How are they going to survive? It can be tough normally without all the shifts in present day culture and a woke agenda or the left agenda, the right agenda, and all that stuff that's pitting each other, all of us against each other. I have to go back to, is he a good person? Can you count on him? Does he show up? Is he going to be a good dad? Is he concerned about the well-being of a family? Are we going to have enough money to get through it? Can we have enough money to relax and we don't have to be stressed out with each other? Can I make enough money that you can stay home and raise the kids? Can I do certain things like that? That is really what's going to occupy a man's mind for the most part. And I don't see a problem with that. I see that as some guy who's concerned and could be a good person to get married to. So let's stop disqualifying everybody and let's give everybody a chance. Make sense? Like and subscribe. We'll see everybody in the next video.